Jony Ive is leaving Apple. The Note 10 doesn't have a headphone jack. Lots of other things are bothering me, and that's why I'm doing this new show called Triggered. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech Text. And it hurts! This is your first time here. Thanks for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I hope you come back again, and you know how to make that happen. Anyway, today, inaugural episode 1 of Triggered, a new show that I'm going to do probably weekly to get started that is just me talking about things that have made me one way or the other triggered. Whether it could be bad, it could be good, it'll mostly likely be bad, at least in my opinion. And so this is a show where I'm going to talk about stuff that's happened during the week or stuff that I've been thinking about, stuff that has just itched at my brain and got me a little triggered. So here we go. First thing I want to talk about that has me a little triggered is, again, the Galaxy Note 10. Yes, I know, we won't know anything about the Galaxy Note 10 until it releases or it's unveiled or whatever you want to call it on August 7th. And that is more than 3 months away. However, no, 2 months away. 2 months away. Just a little bit over 2 months away. So, but the leaks, they still keep coming. And with the leaks keep coming some more information. Just recently, today, we had pictures, like in the flesh pictures of a Galaxy Note 10, or what's purported to be a Galaxy Note 10. And it has a pinhole in the screen for, like right in the middle at the top. So that confirms that we're going to have that pinhole camera up at the top as opposed to the side. Then there was a picture of the screen when it was off, and then there was like this weird picture. Like, why would you release the picture of just users moving the phone? It's just, anyway. We also got a render from a case company, I'm not sure which, but a case company that does in fact seem to confirm that the Galaxy Note 10 will not have a headphone jack. It will not have a headphone jack, according to the stuff that came from this case company. You'll see microphone holes, you'll see S Pen hole, you'll see USB-C charging hole, you'll see all that, but you won't see a headphone jack. I put, an image up here so as to illustrate what I'm talking about. And again, I love the headphone jack. I think the headphone jack is an important thing for every phone to have. Unfortunately, the world is against me. So, yeah, that's got me a little bummed out. And, now the next thing I want to talk about, the next thing that, this is really kind of a bittersweet thing. Jony Ive, who has been at Apple for 30 years, has announced that he is leaving Apple. He's been their chief design guy. He's leaving Apple. He's going to go over, he's going to start a new agency, and that agency's first client is, of course, Apple. I guess the idea is that this gives him a chance to do other things besides Apple things, and good for him. I mean, he has been at Apple for 30 years. Steve Jobs found Jony Ive in design school, I believe, and just kind of had a feeling about the guy. And lo and behold, what happens? He comes out with the first iMac. He is the designer of the first iPod. He is the designer of the first iPhone, iPad. Everything that has become iconic in the world of tech that has really honestly been copied by a lot of other manufacturers had its genesis in the designs of Jony Ive. They made a 300-page coffee table book that shows all of the designs from Apple that, just lots and lots of stuff. Jony Ive almost single-handedly changed how we view technology. A lot of you might not be old enough to remember when all you had were beige boxes with CRT screens, and computers were very, very boring. Very boring. Even Macs at the time. Even Macs. It was dark days. It was dark days. Even Macs at the time, just beige boxes. And when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, He brought with him Jony Ive, and Jony Ive came up with the iMac. It was colorful, it was fun to look at, and it's one of the first times that the aesthetic value of a computer is something that you could put into your home and maybe have it be aesthetically pleasing, as opposed to something that you stick in a desk in a corner, in a spare bedroom. So the iMac really changed everything. It changed personal computing forever, because all of a sudden, here's a computer that a lot more people can afford, that is going to be good for them to use in their homes, and that really started the boom. I mean, then we talk about the iPod. The iPod, I should go without saying that the iPod, while there were MP3 players before, the iPod really changed the way we listen to music. For better or worse, digital delivery of music started with the iPod and the iTunes Store, and has just kept on going. Jony Ive was the brains behind that design, the little clicky wheel, all that kind of stuff. It just, so many things. The iPhone, we don't need to talk about. We know what the iPhone is. We know how it's affected the world. So Jony Ive has even been knighted Sir Jony Ive by the Queen. A lot of accomplishments. Jony Ive has been one of my favorite tech people for a long time. However, in recent years, it has seemed like Sir Jony has kind of faded into the background and not really been up front doing videos where everything was magical. Was Jony Ive the first, meme? I don't know. It was definitely a meme. The magical thing was a meme. Him in that white room talking about things magical, and he's got that, sultry British voice. Oh, boy. He hasn't been doing those for a while, either. I guess he had been focusing on the new Apple campus. He'd been focusing on some other things, but he was still the head of the design department, and now he is stepping out of that role. He's hanging out his own shingle, and he's going to be an independent player, but his first and probably biggest client will be Apple. I read today that Apple has already lost $9 billion in valuation because Jony Ive is leaving the company, even though he's going to still work for the company. So the importance of Jony Ive to Apple can't be overstated. However, 30 years is a long, long time. So maybe it was time for him to make a move. And hopefully Apple has people in-house or brings in new people that can revitalize and re-energize the Apple design team. I'm not behind the scenes with Apple, so I don't know really what the working conditions are like and how people's morale is or anything like that. But what I do know is Apple has been a little stagnant in recent years, and this might be a great opportunity for new eyes, new ideas to bring something fresh, or at least not stale, to the table. Thank you, Sir Jony, for all that you've done, and we'll see you on the flip side. Now, I want to take some time to talk about something that I really, really like, something that triggered me in that oh-so-pleasant way. It's this chair, actually. This chair. Secret Labs Titan chair. They got in touch with me. They said, can we send you a chair? And I said, yes, you can send me a chair, because I've seen these things, and they are pretty good looking, very, very classy looking gaming chairs, as opposed to some other gaming chairs which aren't very classy. And I have had a ton of gaming chairs in my YouTube career. I've had probably 4 or 5 different gaming chairs sent to me by gaming chair companies. This Secret Labs, I'm not just saying this because they just sent it to me. This is the most solid gaming chair I've ever had. It's probably the most solid, well put together chair, desk chair, that I've ever had. It's got rotating arms. You can do all the things that you can do with the chair. It's made of a really high grade PU leather, as well as a suede. This is so nice, because this is suede where my arms might rub the chair. It's really, really nice. It's a very nice chair, and I'm really honestly impressed. It's the right size for me. It feels good. And so I have been enjoying my time down here in the studio sitting on my Secret Labs chair. And, Sometimes I need to make a little bit of money, and I do have an affiliate link that I will put down in the description below so that you can go check out the Secret Labs chairs, find one that's right for you. They're not, for how much more quality they are than the other gaming chairs that I've used, they are not that much more expensive. They are a little pricey, but they're not so expensive that you just look at that and say, oh, that's too much. It's within reason, and it's a really nice chair. It has lumbar support built in, so you don't get that stupid lumbar pad that never works. And then the pillow, folks, is memory foam. It's just like you put your head back and you just sink into it. Very, very nice. A very, very nice chair, and you should check it out. Down in the description below, check out that link. Okay, so the final thing that I'm going to be triggered by today, that I have been triggered by today, and really it started yesterday because this story broke yesterday, but I didn't make this video until today. Deep Nudes. Deep Nudes, an application where I guess, in certain instances with certain kinds of photos, you can use AI to take off the clothing of women in photos. This is not a new thing. I mean, there have been deep fakes, porn videos, stuff like that, putting famous people's faces on porn actors and all that kind of stuff. What really triggered me was either the naivete or the cynicism / just punkism of the guy who made the app in the first place. First off, he says, well, they have taken the app down. They are not going to allow the app to be, bought anymore. It's not on the website. It'll probably be someplace else that people can get to it. But the folks who were running the app, Deep Nudes app, have let it go. But in doing so, he released a statement saying they greatly underestimated the interest that people might have and the probability that people might misuse it. So you make an app called Deep Nudes. And you underestimate the potential popularity of such an app, and then you're somewhat disturbed after the fact about the probability that some folks may, in fact, misuse the app that you've made that can take away women's clothes in photos. That's disingenuous at best. It's insulting at worst. He also went on to say in an interview with The Verge that he believed someone else would soon make an app like Deep Nudes if he didn't do it first. So he was saving us from the potential for someone else to make this app by making it himself. Fantastic. Then he put out a tweet. Deep Nude app is the Twitter handle here. He put out a tweet that's kind of long. I guess he probably wrote something and then screenshotted it, and that's what we're looking at here. He says in closing, "The world is not yet ready for Deep Nude." At what point is the world going to be ready for Deep Nude? This is the kind of crazy shit that really pisses me off. Because, yes, at one time we objectified women to a certain degree that was embarrassing for the entire culture. We still do that to this day. And this guy thinks that it's okay to make an app called Deep Nude that only has one purpose, I'm assuming, taking clothes off of women, and then says the world is not ready for it. The world should never be ready for Deep Nude. There should never be a moment where artificially taking off clothes with AI should be a thing that you do. AI is going to have plenty of applications of that very similar kind. And yes, there will be some people who misuse that power, great power, great responsibility. We're never gonna put the genie back in the bottle. We're never gonna make everybody a decent stand-up human being. You're just a punk. That's all there is to it. And the naive or disingenuous ideas that you have about what your application might be used for and how and why, to what extent, cry me a river, brother. Cry me a river and get on with your next project. Hopefully one day you'll actually grow out of your 12-year-old emotional mindset and become an adult that can take responsibility for and respect other human beings. That is what really triggered me this week. Tell me what's triggered you down in the comments. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say. If you have anything to say about what triggered me, then tell me that down in the comments, and we will have a boisterous discussion, as we always do here on the Painfully Honest Tech channel. Speaking of Painfully Honest Tech channel, you can like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon if you enjoyed this video and you want to come on back for more Triggered and all of the other tech-related stuff that I do here on Painfully Honest Tech. And for those of you who've been here before, thank you so much for being here and for coming back to these videos all the time. I really do appreciate it. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see if Triggered becomes a thing that people want to see. If you want to see it, please hit that like button. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much for sticking with me. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest that hurts, and this has been Triggered, Episode 1. Until the next time, I'm out.